my name is Kutarna. I'm originally from Regina. I've lived in a bunch of different countries since then. Right now I live in London, England. Last year I finished a PhD in Chinese politics at Oxford University. So my formal wheelhouse actually is political value diversity in China as China develops from a sort of a developing to a developed country, how its political discourse changes. And I guess my latest claim to fame is this summer publishing my first book, Age of Discovery, Navigating the Risks and Rewards of Our New Renaissance, which is all about making sense of the time that we live in now. And you know, when the book came out in the summer, I don't know how many people really believed they needed help making sense of the time we live in. But then Brexit happened this year. Then Trump wins the US presidency. Both developments that I predicted publicly would happen, sort of based on my thinking in the book. And then I think a lot of people came around to the idea that, yeah, maybe we do need a fresh perspective on the present moment. And the book is all about leveraging history as that perspective, sort of finding a moment in history. Kind of has some odd similarities to now, and just seeing what happened then to help stretch our imagination about what we might expect to happen in this second Renaissance. So I've been doing a lot of just traveling and speaking the last 6 months, helping people to understand the way that I'm understanding things and just help make sense of the time we live in.
Can you explain what you mean by the new Renaissance? So what is it?
Sure. So broadly, it's a perspective on the present. And the argument that I'm making is that this is a moment of rapid change, of a pretty significant upheaval. And I'm trying to sort of unpackage that a bit and make it something more understandable. And so for me, the sort of three converging forces that make this present moment special and challenging are globalization, digitization, and concentration. So globalization, just putting the world's precious resources and ideas and people into global motion since the fall of the Berlin Wall and the founding of the WTO and China's entry into a global market economic system. Digitization, which is not just the internet, but really digital as a new medium for creating and exchanging ideas. The same medium that allows us to have this conversation in this room, and who knows how many thousands of people to view it afterwards, sort of in their own home. So that's a pretty fundamental flip in the economics of how information is created and exchanged. And then concentration, sort of throughout human society and ecology as a result of sort of the previous two forces. Concentrations in incomes, in wealth, in our environmental impacts. And so, what's the meta lens to make sense of those three converging forces? And for me, I say it's the Renaissance, because if you look 500 years ago to the kind of upheaval that Europe and the world was going through then, globalization and the voyages of discovery, digitization and Gutenberg's printing press, and all the concentrations we experience today were also being experienced then. So I say, okay, that's what I mean by Renaissance. It's this moment of these particular converging forces. And if we hallucinate with me that is the right lens on the present, then we can go to the first Renaissance and ask, okay, well, what happened in society under those forces then? And that's going to help us to sort of set good expectations about the range of possibilities that we might be confronting as those similar forces transform our world today.